to really understand the extent of this problem. So when a city or county has a local marijuana issue, a pot shop opens in their town, or there's any sort of major issue where they have to discuss the topic of marijuana, based on city procedures, the first person, one of the very first persons they need to go to is the chief of police. He doesn't know what to do, so he looks up on his association's website. And on the California Chief of Police Association's website today, you can find all the latest propaganda about how marijuana is a dangerous substance and will hurt a city. So not only are they lobbying the government to try to keep things illegal so that they have more money to seize, but they effectively control the government procedures that would let true information and science get in. Instead of science, you have what is presented by the Chief of Police Association or the Sheriff's Association.
Which is not an outright lie, but it's a self-perpetuating piece of information.
In some cases, it is completely dishonest on every level.
And is that forming public opinion also?
Well, it doesn't necessarily form a public opinion, but when I mention these groups have a local component, that's how they get into the public opinion. So some of this money through the associations then goes back into things like calm citizens against the legalization of marijuana, and other groups like that are set to try to change the public's view of what marijuana is.
Recently, Fresno incorporated a ban of indoor and outdoor growing, and the video that the city council did paraded a couple of Latino mothers and other so-called concerned citizens who had various complaints. But is it possible that in order to justify a ban, these police associations are actually organizing these dog and pony shows before the public to say, look at all these concerned citizens and why this is so dangerous, but it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it?
Without a doubt. So what happens is these representatives from the police department visit the neighborhood associations and they tell them that this is something dangerous and it's going to hurt your kids. Well, they're the ones providing the information, and any concerned parent who hears from somebody of authority, like a police officer, that this is a dangerous thing that's going to hurt your kids, could be rightfully concerned. Now, again, you have a situation where who is the source of information? Where is this information coming from? And yet, you have these associations through the Sheriff's Association, the District Attorney's Association, and the Police Officers Association going around to these local groups and activating people. And in many cases, these people are on the fence until they hear from a police officer, hey, this is something really dangerous. Some of them are already on that opinion, and instead of addressing that opinion with some facts, they reinforce that opinion and feed off of it. So, without a doubt, that's exactly what's happening.
A self-perpetuating entity that just kind of evolved to that state and likes where it is.
The fact is, the more drug dealers there are, the more money is available for asset forfeiture, and therefore that is more money these associations can take. If we were to end the war on drugs today, you would have a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is the narcotic enforcement industry, that would be gone.
Well, what would all those people do for work?
Well, keep the streets safe, stop dangerous people,
and help to squash the production of truly bad and addictive illicit substances that are out there. Meth, PCP, Molly, you name it, right? All these designer drugs that are made in laboratories by synthetic components, possibly in garages. This should be the real focus of a war on drugs, not people who are using medicine given to us by our Creator that's a natural remedy for many, many illnesses.
Without a doubt. You know, I'll go even further, though, and say that, in general, regardless of the drug, an addict should not be put in jail. The war on drugs, the premise is if you're addicted to drugs, we put you in jail.
Well, it's called rehabilitation, or they're called correctional facilities.
Well, what they do is they introduce people to other people that are worse. So you go into a correctional facility in one in one way, in one state of mind, and knowing the people that you know, you come out of it in a whole nother state of mind, knowing some really, really bad people.
It's a college for criminals.
Without a doubt. And, you know, there are models and examples out there. If you look at Portugal, they've effectively legalized heroin. And you had alleys in Portugal that were known as Heroin Alley. You couldn't walk down the street without accidentally getting stabbed by a heroin needle. It was that bad. Those alleys, children can now play in and are totally safe because the government provides heroin for free.
Treat people as patients and not criminals, don't they?
That's how it works. So when you get your free heroin, it's not from a drug dealer, it's from a doctor. Here's some alternatives that you could try. Here's some therapy we can try to do to help you. But right now, we know you need this. So instead of you going to a drug dealer and giving a drug dealer money, we're going to give it to you for free. And now all of a sudden, drug dealers don't have business.
And the people who are addicted to these substances get treatment from the government and they become productive members of society again.
Yeah. And trust me, heroin is one of the worst drugs out there by far because of how addictive it is. But if you talk to somebody who's worked with a heroin user, they will tell you if they are on heroin, they are totally fine, they can do everything, they're extremely good workers. If they're not on heroin, that's where you have the problem. So when you're dealing with an addiction situation, it's not a situation where you can just throw people in jail and expect it to go away. It is a very strong physical addiction.
So people that are on heroin that get put in jail, for example, they have to go through withdrawal symptoms and go through all the pain of withdrawal and all of that. Do the prisons provide medical alternatives, to wean them off of their addiction and help them physically, or do they just let them sit in a cell and sweat it out?
They do not provide an adequate level of doing that. Depending on the facility, there is some treatment, but generally what happens is the heroin user finds heroin in the jail. Our jails are filled with drugs.
And then when these people get out, the government or the corporation who now runs that private prison says, hey, this is great because now this guy's a repeat customer.
Well, the bigger problem is now they get out and they know more people to get heroin from.
Or how to do crimes better without getting caught.